a dynamic beauty blender for a smooth application, even in hard-to-reach areas. In this professionally designed cosmetic kit, we've carefully selected 30 items to meet the unique needs of modern morticians. Each component is meticulously chosen to elevate the art of cosmetizing decedents. Let's start with our innovative cream foundation line. It's not just versatile, it's vegan too, making it perfect for those seeking a natural or green disposition. We've crafted 8 foundation colors, from fair to rich brown hues, alongside 2 warmer blush colors for enhancing natural variegation. For masking discolorations, we offer 3 color correctors that include lavender, mint, and turmeric, which can be applied prior to a flawless foundation application. Worried about makeup smudging during sensitive moments with families approaching and touching their loved ones? We've got you covered with our setting spray. It locks in our cream cosmetics, ensuring they stay put for viewings and visitations. And you know what? Say goodbye to triangular sponges. Our kit includes a dynamic beauty blender for a smooth application, even in hard-to-reach areas. Our natural lip color blends seamlessly with our foundation line, offering a matte finish that suits all genders. Easily gloss it up for a more vibrant or healthy look. Our eyeshadow palette features natural skin and hair colors, ideal for restorative touch-ups and enhancing natural features. We offer a wide range of brushes, designed for comfort and convenience, ensuring your varying needs are met. And precision is key. Our eyebrow razors assist with shaving hard-to-reach hairs, reducing razor burn and facilitating dermaplaning. Tech Bond and Aran Alpha are here to save the day, offering quick drying solutions for your glue needs along with versatile restorative applications. Our metal instrument kit includes spatulas, an aneurysm hook, and sharp scissors, ideal for intricate work and hairstyling. Achieve hairstyling perfection with our parting comb, designed with a sectioning end for creating various styles and updos. And our nail board isn't just for nails. It smooths out dried tissue, essential for restorative work. And keep your brushes clean with our washcloth, also handy for testing your airbrush system. And protect casket liners and fabric with our washable makeup bed, with the dimensions designed strategically to drape over the side of a casket for those cosmetizing decedents within. And all these meticulously chosen items are neatly organized in our versatile and adjustable cosmetic case. It maintains a professional appearance that can be taken anywhere, ensuring you have everything you need to complete your cosmetic work. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our cosmetic line presentation. For all of you here today, hopefully you're interested in our new cosmetic line or wondering about some of the products, wondering what we've got to offer. And I really hope that you enjoy what we're going to show you guys today. We're essentially going to go through most of the products in the cosmetic line. I've got a presentation on them that you'll be able to watch and just learn some information about. And then I'm also going to be showing you live what the products look like. And if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat, or I think it's a chat box here on the YouTube. And Chris will read those questions to me. I'll make sure to repeat them so you guys can hear what's being asked, and try and address them the best that I can. And if any of you have questions afterwards, I'll have my information up. Feel free to reach out to me, especially if it's about specific products or best usage or just questions in general. The other thing too that I like to offer, especially for joining us today, is we do have cosmetic samples of the cream cosmetics, one of the foundation colors and one of the color correctors. I've had several people reach out to me via social media or that have seen this presentation and are really curious, but want to try it before making that dive. I'm happy to mail these out to you guys. So reach out to me and I'll get them in the mail to you. Or if you're coming to NFDA in Chicago at the end of this month, we'll of course have tons of samples and swag at the Frigid booth. So please stop by. We're also going to be doing live demos of the cosmetics and different scenarios in the Frigid booth. I believe it is Monday and Tuesday from 2:30 to 3:30 each day. So stop on by if you want to see some of the cosmetics in action, or, just get a feel for them yourself. Anyways, welcome. So I want to start off by saying we worked really, really hard on this cosmetic kit. For about 2 years, we were testing different products. We really wanted to modernize what is put out there for morticians, because either people use mortuary cosmetics from 1930 that has just been left in their prep room, or essentially formulas that were developed in the early 1900s, or over-the-counter stuff. And so there's pros and cons for both. And some people have used a mixture of both, but we really wanted to modernize it. One thing that I've noticed as an embalmer and funeral director is that some families don't choose embalming because they're worried about what their loved one is going to look like with the cosmetics on. So they kind of associate embalming with cosmetics, which is unfortunate. And for the most part, it's been people that have seen a loved one, in the past where they've had really thick caked on makeup. And what that thick caked on makeup really is mortician's makeup that is based off stage makeup. So it is very thick because back in the day, makeup had to withstand those hot temperatures of the light bulbs, and you didn't want makeup melting off someone in a casket. Already that's not going to look good. So they adopted stage makeup. Well, unfortunately, in our field, we haven't updated that, even with updated, canons of beauty in our world. And so that was something that Frigid wanted to do. So the basis for our cosmetic line truly is the cream foundations that we made up. We have a bunch of colors now. We originally started with 8 colors and 2 blushes, and I think we're up to 11 colors now. Thanks to feedback from you guys, just hearing what colors you guys need, what types of cases you guys have been having. So we really are trying to cater it to what you guys need, what I need in my prep room, etc. And the other really cool thing about the cosmetic line for the cream cosmetics is that we have a setting spray that actually works on cream cosmetics. Um, you know, People get worried using cream cosmetics on a decedent that loved ones go up and touch them or love on them, and the makeup will just rub right off. And so when we were developing this foundation line, we wanted to make sure that we had a setting spray that really locked in that makeup on a decedent all while maintaining a very natural look. And so this is what our fiber hold spray does. It also, you can use that as a hairspray as well. But if you guys have seen us at conventions or will see us at conventions, especially NFDA coming up, come up to us at the booth, get a little sample of cosmetics on your wrist. We'll spray it with the setting spray, and each day we'll tell you to come back after attempting to shower it off, and you'll still find it on your wrist. So yeah, happy to do that demo with you guys. So our green foundation line originally was the range of 8 colors. Like I mentioned, we do have 3 other new ones now. They are, I can show you, they are relatively thick, but they're also very, very creamy. And you know, we wanted a dual purpose for this. We wanted for people to be able to use it opaquely if they needed. It also can be built up in layers very easily, or it can also be very translucent and thinned out for times where you don't need a lot of coverage, but you know, just a little bit extra color. It also makes it very easy to blend together. And we do have, and I'll show it on our slide, we do promote using beauty blenders. So those little teardrop foams to blend rather than the triangles, which always leave the lines. And the nice thing too about it, which I'll mention later as well, is that it does blend really nicely with our lipstick color. So if you have lips with a lot of color variegation, you're able to blend them so they look very natural. Another thing I got mentioned on here is the opaqueness for age spots, freckles, natural markings. You know, if you've got to add back in some freckles or whatnot, you can go ahead and use a small fine detail brush and just use it opaquely if you need. The other really cool thing about these, and this is something that we had in mind when developing them, is that we wanted these to be able to be used on both embalmed and unembalmed decedents. You know, we want to make sure that no matter what disposition a family chooses, for whatever reasons they have, that they are still able to view their loved one with the most respect and reverence that we're able to present them with. These are water soluble, which is what kind of allows for that. So if you have decedents that are very oily or very dry for their skin, it's still going to work extremely well. These are also 100% vegan with our natural burial friends in mind. We wanted to make sure that we were upholding, you know, those natural burial beliefs for you guys if you're using these on your decedents for maybe a identification view or private viewing before shrouding. Families, I'm sure, are going to be happy to hear that these are vegan as well. And like I mentioned too, it does mix really well with our natural lip color, which I will go over later. I really like this color chart. So this is a color chart that we put together of obviously 2 alive people, but showing very different color undertones in their skin color. So the arm and the hand on the top has a very cool undertone. It's got a lot of those pinks and reds shining through. And the arm below has a very warm undertone. So a lot of those, you know, more orangey tan color coming through. And the reason that we wanted to show it this way is to show that even though we've got these colors available, they're going to look very different on different skin colors and skin types. You know, for example, on the arm above, that first color almost, you almost can't see it. On the arm below, the third one, you almost can't see it. They just blend in nicely. The other thing about these is that the colors that we've chosen to work with also work really well with Dine Air colors. So if you are an airbrush user, you know, and maybe you go ahead and airbrush someone, they had a great viewing, you go to move them to church, family wants to see them really quick before the service, and you notice a little bit of makeup came off on the course of viewing side. You can go ahead and just grab one of the cream cosmetics and touch it up very quickly rather than having to get out your airbrush and everything too. So we wanted to make sure that those colors were harmonious with the Dinair colors. These were other new foundation colors, so much lighter, porcelain, sandstone, and ivory. And sandstone is actually the color in the foundation sample pack. So you can actually see that one as well. These are also great for mixing with if you need to make lighter versions of any of, the actual foundation colors. We also have two blush colors. Let's see, peony pink. Now it is very vibrant. So I'll show you there. Really, a little bit goes a long way. I've had this for a while now. I use these cosmetics at the job, and a little bit really does go a long way when you're blending it in with those foundation colors to look more natural on the face. We also have rose taupe, so this is a much toned down blush. Pull this off. I know some people that have used this as a foundation color, but this one we had in mind for people that were much more pale in their natural complexion, that you could add this in for those warm areas on the face or on the hands, just to add some color variegation. Some of those spots like, around the nose, maybe the knuckles on the hands that just need a little bit more dimension. And these are easily blendable with the foundation line as well. I threw in this slide because when I teach on cosmetics and, on the biology of our bodies that guides how we should be doing cosmetics on decedents that perhaps want a more natural appearance, make it look like they weren't wearing any makeup. These are 4 areas that I teach that you should really pay extra attention to. I have seen decedents laid out where their entire foundation color is just flat over their entire face, their ears, their hands, they're just one color. And while they might not be pale anymore, now they're just a flat other color, and it still looks off. And so the eyes, the nose, the ears, and the knuckles are 4 areas where we can color variegate. Or we can just alter the color based on what's naturally underneath, which is blood vessels. One of my favorite images is that image on the right of the nose that is from a cadaver, and you can see all the capillaries just wrapping around the wings of the nose and underneath, and that's why typically it is more red there. People like myself, when I do makeup, I always make sure to put makeup there because I don't like that redness. But the eyes, we usually have, because the skin is thinner, we can see the color that's underneath, whether it is a darker version of our own skin color or if it's more that red or purple shining through. Same thing with ears. And I love to tell people to just be very awkward in the grocery store the next time they go and just stare at the people's ears in front of you in line. And just notice how some parts of it might be more red, whether at the top or the bottom. Because again, you can see all those capillaries wrapping around the cartilage of the ear, and the ear is the skin is very thin. And the ears are important too, because, while you're standing up, cosmetizing someone looking down on them in the casket, you have to remember that people coming up to the casket, if you're using like a kneeler, they're going to be eye level with things like the ears or seeing under the nose, or the knuckles or the fingertips on someone's hands. So this is why those extra little details are so important for the whole overall, image and presentation of them. The setting spray, like I mentioned, it's versatile as both a setting spray and a hairspray. It is packaged in a travel size. Bust out, this is my actual kit right here. I should have showed you guys the box to start off with, but I just jumped right in. So, travel size, it has double caps, so double protection, but it's a nice little spritz top. So if you are traveling on an airplane or something, or going to do a case, etc., you don't need to worry about the aerosol. So we want to make sure people that travel with it, we've also got you in mind for that. And the way that I tell people to do it is, because it is a spritz top rather than aerosol, that first time you go to use it after having it stored wherever, spritz once just to get it going, and then go ahead and it will start misting. It smells really good. Again, come up to us at convention and try this stuff out, sample it. Um, we really tried to think creatively and different with these items. But hold it about a foot or a foot and a half away from a decedent, and let it just spritz down on top of them. Let it air dry 5 to 10 minutes. And then again, if you are building up colors for a foundation color, or if you're going over discoloration, let it dry and then build up those layers independently. Makeup bib, I think my makeup bib actually, I do not have it with me. Okay. My makeup bib. So, if you are like me, which most people are not, however, I am extremely messy. Um, and I like to cosmetize people where they're going to be viewed or seen, whether it's, if they're going to be laid out on a table or if they're going to be in their casket. That's where I like to cosmetize them. So rather than throwing down 1,000 towels and a bunch of plastic and just having a mess of stuff around, we came up with a bib. And the unique thing about this bib is that it is extra wide. And the reason for that is so that when you go into, I don't actually clip this behind people's necks, but if you go up and tuck it around their neck, you can lay it down on the side of the casket or both sides of the coffin for all my international friends, and you're going to protect all that casket or coffin fabric as well as the sides. And the best thing about this too is that you just, once you've used it a bunch and it's really dirty, throw it in the wash, and you can easily wash it. I think I have a picture. Yep. So there's a picture there with it draping over the side of the casket. I can then put out all my instruments or materials that I need to use, and I don't need to stress about getting anything dirty, or making a mess of plastics and stuff that I just have to clean up afterwards. The color correctors. So we've got color correctors and we've got advanced color correctors. We've got your mint to cover up any redness. We've got your lavender to color up any yellows or jaundice colors. And then we've also got turmeric to color up any purple discolorations or bruising. And turmeric is the color in our sample pack. So it's a handy one to use because I feel like most of the time we get those bruises on the viewing side from the IV in the back of the hand. That's such a common one. Now our lavender and mint are in tubes, mostly because you really don't, when you're gonna essentially color correct for these, you really are not going to use a whole lot. So we made them so that you can squeeze them out nice and easily. Gonna make a mess right there on my hand. Usually I mix up colors on the back, or some people do on the back of their glove if they're wearing gloves. And you can go ahead and apply this right to those areas that are discolored. Now, the thing about our color correctors is that they act like true color correctors on the market in the makeup world, in the sense that they are not very opaque. From what I've experienced in the mortuary field, when I've gone to use like that mint green, it is so thick and opaque that, yes, it covers the red, but now it's bright mint green, and now I'm fighting with mint green. So rather than being very opaque, they're translucent because they're meant to blend with the color that's underneath to tone them down naturally. And once you do that, you can go ahead and spritz your fiber hold spray, let it dry, and then you can start and go over with your foundation color. So this screen, we've got this up on the website when you go to look up these to purchase. It is just a reference for you to remind you, opposite colors in the color wheel, things that these can color correct for. We have also got these slides just reminding you where to apply it in order to neutralize those colors, and how they essentially just cancel each other out. So yeah, so this is showing green, for example, if you've got an area of rosacea, or the green is also really great to have on hand for if you've ever experienced, no matter what fluids you're using, sometimes, you get a blockage of fluid in the face, all of a sudden you've got like a burst of color or formaldehyde burn or etc. If you can't tone it down before doing cosmetics, this green is really great to have on hand just to tone it down before you do foundation colors. And there's an image of our beauty blender that we've got in our kit as well. That will help blend it out before, like I mentioned, doing the foundation colors. Okay, our natural lip color. This was also something that I noticed in our field that people have, I mean, I think this will be an endless debate about, but finding that really great natural lip color, especially for men that don't normally wear lipstick. Yes, Chris. Okay, so Chris just told me that someone is in the chat asking if I prefer the beauty blender over the stipple brush. Yes, 100% I prefer the beauty blender. We'll also get into our brushes in a little bit because we actually have true cosmetic brushes, so we'll go over them shortly. The stipple brush in the more dry field is a paintbrush. And I am trained as an illustrator and painter. I'm never going to use a paintbrush on a person. I ethically that's I don't know why we have paintbrushes in our field. We shouldn't. We should be having cosmetic brushes and we should be using them as so. Um, the beauty blender is also great because you don't get any lines from it and it does blend it very seamlessly on a person's skin. Because again, this is what people are using in real life for their cosmetics. And this is what we're trying to mimic as well. Even though the skin is slightly different, either, deceased or embalmed, sometimes it's a different texture. But mostly for the same, theory, we're trying to do the same thing. I don't know if that answers it, but if it doesn't, hopefully when we do the brushes, it will. Is that good, Chris? Okay. So we've got someone, and Chris is in the background reading me the questions, and I don't think you guys can hear him. But because I can't see the questions on my screen, he's sharing them with me that someone uses the stipple brush and then the sponges to blend it out and is asking about the beauty blender and how to keep it clean. So the wonderful thing about a beauty blender is that you actually, if you get a delicates bag from your laundry, you can go to a dollar store and get a delicates bag for the laundry, throw it in that, throw it right into your wash if you've got one in your prep room or at home, throw it right into the dryer, comes out perfectly clean. So I hope that answers that question. Okay. I'm gonna move on to natural lip color. So I mentioned this is like, the big question because I don't know. It's tough to find one that doesn't look like they're wearing lipstick. And so we took on this challenge. This is our natural lip color. It is in matte. So when you put it on a decedent, it's not overly glossy. Our thought was with that is that, typically men's lips are not super glossy, especially after they've been, I don't know, resting or whatever. The other thing about it is that it's very blendable with our cream foundation line. So if you have a lips with a lot of color variegation, you can easily blend these two together to make it look natural. With the matte, you can always, always, always easily gloss it up with either lip gloss or Vaseline if you need to do that, especially if a family requests that or if you have women or girls, etc. To make it just appear glossier, but still have that natural color that families might want. So I'm going to show you here. This is a gentleman's lips before and after with using our natural lip color. As you can see, as long as you blend out that edge, so it doesn't have a hard line. Again, this is where the beauty blender is handy. Um, it really does look fairly natural, especially on lighter skin colored individuals. It also has this really fun, which I'm playing with, magnetic top, so that you never lose the lid. And now the cosmetic brushes. So our cosmetic brushes, they come in the full cosmetic kit, but you can also buy them individually. And they come in this really nice case. It is magnetic. Whoop, and I opened it upside down. Magnetic. It's got these flaps to protect the brushes for when you fold it up. So these protect all the bristles. But the reason we did this is so it looks more professional. If you are working with a family to either do like a family assisted cosmetic session or dressing, or if you're going somewhere public or a place of worship to touch up any makeup, this just looks very professional. Again, we're trying to elevate what we are putting out there and what we're able to do as morticians. So we have a bunch of brushes in here, and these images are also on our website in the store. So if you're looking at purchasing these and wanted to remember, oh crap, what were the brushes in there? We do have them listed in the photos so you can see. We've got your standard lip brushes, smudge, concealer, eyeshadow, etc. One unique one that I was adamant about having in there was this one. It essentially is a clean eye mascara brush. And the way that I use it, and I use it all the time, is that after I've done cosmetics on someone, if I get any cosmetics in the hair, or say they have a beard or a mustache, or even like their eyebrows, I go ahead and I dip the top part of this in dry hair cleaner, and then I just comb it through wherever I need to clean out. It makes it so much easier than using a bunch of Q-tips, because the bristles go, right through the hair. So it's very, very handy in that sense. We've, of course, got blending brushes, different foundation brushes. We've got that mini comb, the mustache comber and brush. We've got different loose powder brushes, and they're all super soft. The handles are nice and soft as well. For the brushes, because they're true cosmetic brushes, the best way to clean them is all you do is you get a little bit of soap on the palm of your hand, put your hand under warm water, and just clean the bristles in a circular motion in the soap under warm water, and then let them dry overnight once you've got the makeup out. Yeah, I love these. Like I said, they're true cosmetic brushes. We are the only mortuary company, fluid company selling actual cosmetic brushes. So again, just trying to be more respectful for the decedents and for the families that we're working for. Our eyeshadow palette. So this is really cool. Our eyeshadow palette is in this really nice cardboard case because we're trying to also think trying to be very conscious about our ecosystem and things breaking down and things being reused. So for example, when designing this whole kit, we decided to do all the cream foundations in glass jars, because once you're done with it, you can easily reuse this glass jar for something else. In my restorative art kit, I've got one of these glass jars emptied, and I've got a bunch of paper clips in it for some reconstruction stuff I do. Anyway, so this is cardboard, just better for the environment. It has a mirror, even though I don't think the decedents will ever use that. But most of the colors in here are natural browns, natural hair colors, because we didn't really intend this eyeshadow palette to just be used for eyeshadow. It's essentially a touch-up palette. So if you need to touch up any hair, on the decedent, I also like to use some of the browns on just people's eyelashes, even if they're not supposed to have any makeup on, or are just supposed to have a natural look. I'll go ahead and find their hair color, and I'll just do a little bit on their eyelashes just to make them pop a little bit extra. there's no glitter in this. They're just flat matte colors. We also have white in here. That is handy for if you've got someone wearing a white shirt, white collared shirt, and you accidentally get makeup on it and you get it out mostly, but you still kind of see that ring or a little bit of it there. And you don't know if the family's going to notice it, but you notice it and you're just very anxious about it. An old trick is actually putting white powder over top to mask it. So we put that white there with that in mind. Although, of course, it can also be used if people have white hair and you accidentally got makeup in it and it didn't fully clean out, go ahead and put some white powder over it and that will cover it as well. Our metal instrument kits. So these are for restorative work that you might have to do, whether it's very minor or something very, like a full cranial reconstruction. You can use these for anything. It comes in this nice case as well, so in case you want to keep it to the side. And you've got a bunch of different instruments in here. Again, the cover to keep them all protected. It also comes with this really nice spatula. It's got a knife on one end, spatula on the other. I use it for my live color mixology classes all the time, which is why I had it out. And yeah, I actually do, one of the Frigid webinars is fully on restorative and reconstruction materials and products that we have in the Frigid line. And so I go over these more extensively in that webinar. So if you like this one and want to learn more about our restorative elements, I encourage you to join us for that one. I think we've got one coming up before the end of the year. But they're all metal, which is great because they're going to last you forever. They're very easy to clean. When I do any gluing work, rather than putting the glue directly on the decedent, I actually put it onto like the end of one of the metal instruments. I put the glue right on it, say I need to glue the eye, the eyelids together. That's how I get the glue onto them and then press them down so I don't get any glue in the lashes. And then I just let this sit in dry hair cleaner because it's metal. And then once it's sat in there for a little bit, you can just wipe the glue right off. So they're very easy to clean and take care of. You don't need to worry about any plastic disintegrating or any wood. The other thing about them being metal is they stay hygienic. For those of you that might think that way as well, or those of you that also do a lot of reconstruction or restorative work like I do, once you clean them all the way off, you can spray them with stop or other deep cleaners just to keep them hygienic as well. Whereas the wood might keep bacteria in them. The other thing that I really like the metal for is that if you're doing any restorative work where you have to put back wrinkles, the way that I like to teach it is by putting plastic down first before making any grooves or carvings into the wax so that it displaces smoother rather than creating those jagged edges. And the metal just glides really, really nicely on top of the plastic. So it just makes it a lot easier too. Razors. Take these out. Did I? I have one. So not your typical razors. So these are angled precision, I'm going to say that 5 times fast, razors. So you can see there's a slight angle. We've got a nice small blade there. And these we want to include because, I feel like a lot of times either whether you shave someone before you embalm, there's always sometimes a few pesky hairs that kind of stick around. Or you get that family that calls you after you've embalmed and tells you to get rid of someone's mustache or beard or overgrowth. It's hard to see when you're using an actual razor on a decedent. And while I do shave decedents whenever the family tells me to, etc., I use humectant with a spritz top so I can better see what I'm doing, but still, sometimes those pesky hairs are hard to get like in the corners of the mouths or right under the nose, and you don't want to nick the decedent for fear of dehydration with the razor burn. So these are great for that. You can really get them nitty gritty areas. You can really be in control of what you're doing because you can see that blade. There's nothing covering it up. And it's also really good for dermaplaning. And dermaplaning is when you go ahead and remove all the hair, so all the peach fuzz off an area of the face or the entire face. You're just removing all the very fine hairs. Times that you might need to do that might be a neonatal death or a stillbirth, where maybe there's a lot of discoloration or trauma, and so you're going to need to either do heavy cosmetics or airbrush, etc. And if you've ever had to heavily cosmetize a little one of that size, the peach fuzz loves to hold on to the makeup. It kind of looks off. And so what I suggest is dermaplaning those faces first so that the hair of peach fuzz doesn't catch any of the makeup. So this is also great for that. Oh, here I am showing a corner of, just making sure it's the cleanest mustache I could give this guy. Erin Alpha and Tech Bond. So we included Erin Alpha, which I feel like most people use in the prep room. You could use liquid super glue with Tech Bond as well. But Tech Bond is a chemical activator. Mine is a little bit messy just because I use it a lot. They're 2-ounce little bottles. You might think like, well, that's not a lot. That's a ripoff. It probably takes me 2 years to use this whole thing. You really get your money's worth because every time you use it, you're only using 1 or 2 spritzes. You don't need more than that. And what happens is if you've gone to go ahead and glue, like say made a carotid incision and you're about to dress them. So you want to glue it just to make sure that it's, stays sealed and there's no leakage. Go ahead and put your Erin Alpha down, spritz this once, twice. You'll immediately see little bubbles. You hear that snap, crackle, pop, just like a Rice Krispie cereal. You might see a little bit of smoke, but it immediately hardens and dries that glue. So you can rest assured that there's not going to be any leakage. I have had people use this for autopsy cases when they're going to put the calvarium back on the head rather than using the, oh gosh, the little metal things, or even suturing. I see them just put a half sheet of, or a half piece of web roll over the top of it, saturating with the glue, spritzing with the Tech Bond. It holds it right in place. I use it for, I now have my own bottle that I bring around with me because I really can't be without it in the prep room. It just makes me so much less stressed about any detail work that I might need to do. It's also great for restorative work or reconstruction where there's bone missing. You can go ahead and recreate bone by using cotton and then saturating it with glue and spraying it with the Tech Bond. It's very hard afterwards, as hard as bone, as what I use those paper clips for, to create an anchorage point to put where I need to put it. But this is something I go over in the restorative webinar. So if you want to learn more about that, stay tuned for that one. We also have other additional items. So of course, an aneurysm hook. There's that beauty blender I talked to you about, the teardrop black thing. We also included an emery board in there, and it's not just for filing nails. So our thought and the way that I use an emery board is often for restorative purposes as well. So think about areas of the skin that might have hardened or dehydrated, where you need to get that dehydration off so that you can get the correct shape. Lips are the perfect example. So I've seen this with stillbirths or miscarriages, where they've kept the baby in the room as long as they can for, a week on a cooling board, which is amazing. I love those. But once we get them into our care, their lips are shriveled and dark or black. And you're worried about, oh crap, I'm going to have to either wax them now or do something else. You actually can file them with an emery board very carefully to get off that top layer of dehydration, and then do a humectant pack over them. So just saturate a little bit of web roll with humectant and just lay it over their lips for a couple days, and it will reestablish some hydration in them. And you'll be able to, if you need to use feature builder in them or put a natural lip color down, you can, and you don't need to worry about them being hard and dehydrated. We also have that hair comb in there for, since we're also hairdressers. There is a white washcloth, so if you need to test any colors, you can see what they look like, and then wash it if you need. And we've got hair cutting scissors in there as well, as you're giving haircuts on demand. And all of this comes in this really nice case. And this is something that we thought really hard about as well. So we didn't want a tackle box or a toolkit because, again, we're trying to elevate what we're putting out there and just trying to have it be more professional. Especially if you are needing to do this in front of a family, if they are assisting you with cosmetics, or if you're doing it in a place of worship, or you've got a home funeral and you need to go get them ready. This just looks much nicer. So the case comes, it comes with a shoulder strap, which I've got tucked in here because I don't use it. It's got a handle on top. And for those of you that are either trade embalmers, or I know a lot of friends overseas that travel from funeral home to funeral home doing their work, you can put this right on a luggage as well if you got one of those wheelie luggages, so it just holds right on. You've got two areas. So you've got the main area where you can store most of your cosmetics. And the kit comes with, these dividers so that you can create whatever size and shape you need in here. So if you need to section off different areas, you can, and you can make it to exactly how you need it to be. I know people that have this case that have already gone ahead and put their airbrush in it and made sure that it had its own area as well. It's got a place to store extra brushes if you need. It also has two, hold it up. You can see straps on the side so that when you've got this on the table, it will hold it nice and open at a right angle. So you can see everything you need. You don't need to worry about the lid flapping back. In the front part, we've got more storage. So there's just like zippers upon zippers upon zippers. So I've got gloves up here. I've got another zip case here. You've got one on the side here. You've got another area that opens and you can protect if you've got different instruments, scissors, aneurysm hooks you want to put in here. Yeah, you just got endless storage area. So we also have, so this is the main kit. This is the full kit and caboodle. You get everything. We also have starter kits. So we made two different starter kits. It's got a limited amount of the foundation colors, a limited amount of the brushes, and then different things from the full kit. It comes in a smaller case, and it still looks just like this, but just smaller. We've got both a lighter tone starter kit and a darker tone starter kit, and they come with those 4 colors. I believe you got this up on the website so you can know which ones come with each, but you can also purchase each of the colors a la carte. So if you're like, well, I want the darker tones kit, but I also want porcelain, you can go ahead and just order that, and you'll have room in your case to put it in there. We also came up with a mortuary lip palette. So this is not in the full cosmetic kit, but you can purchase on your own or independently. It's got 6 different colors. Again, it's cardboard, thinking about the environment. It's magnetic, so you don't need to worry about it opening in your case. The 6 colors, so this one right here at the top is that natural matte color. So you've got it already in the kit if you purchase this. Then you've got a plum. You've got brown, which is really important for individuals of more medium brown, darker brown skin color that have a lot of color variegation in their lips. You're going to want some browns to mix with your natural lip color that you'll see more along the line of closure. You've also got a coral, a pink, and a true red. For those women that, have to be buried in the red lipstick, you've got it for them. Another item that we have as part of our foundation line or our cosmetic line is Lanol Care. Mel, the mortician, loves Lanol Care. I love promoting her with it. It's great. You can use it to rehydrate skin. You can use it to hydrate hair before using a heat press or a hot iron to keep it safe and so that it doesn't burn. This has also been used on decedents to keep them hydrated before putting them into refrigeration or anything with cooler temperatures that you're worried about dehydrating the skin. If you've got, I think, here we go. So if you've got a decedent with very ashy skin or the skin's very dehydrated and dry, but the family maybe, they don't want embalming, but maybe they just want to do a private viewing, spray lanol care on them and you'll see that hydration come back. You'll see that the ashiness will go away. It's also great for wigs. So, if a family comes in with a very ratty wig, they took the nice one away that the person maybe wore every day and instead brought you a different one. You can go ahead and just spray it right on. This is an aerosol cup. And then use a comb to comb right through them. And it just brings out a really nice sheen and helps you just comb through any of the knots as well. So then it just looks nicer for the person laying in the casket or being viewed on the table, etc. Velvet Care is also wonderful as a massage cream. I have fully switched over to Velvet Care, and this is one of the first things of Frigid that I've switched over to was because it's an antiseptic. Embalming, especially through the thick of COVID and holding decedents for a long time and having decedents in refrigeration for a long time. One thing that I noticed with massage cream is that it tends to gunk up and you kind of get that cheesiness kind of on their face or hands, wherever you put it. And it also desaturates them a little bit. I've not experienced that with Velva because of the antiseptic. So I only do a thin layer on decedents before doing a piece of plastic. I don't worry about any mold growth. All of my decedents currently where I'm at, if I do any long holds, they're out of refrigeration. I just do detail work each week. And I mean, I've held people for 5 months and no mold growth at all. Not even a worry of mine with this. So I really like Velva. Feature Builder is also fantastic, and I go over Feature Builder in the reconstruction restorative presentation that I do. Some useful tips with it, but not just to fill out and recreate features, but also you can use it to plug like IV holes. And I actually mix it with my tank fluid when I need to do smaller areas of the face that perhaps didn't get enough fluid, but also need some feature builder in them, so that it maintains a homogeneous color of the decedent because of the intrinsic dyes that I'm using. So Frigid's feature builder mixes really well with your tank fluid to inject for extra preservation purposes. I also like to show this picture because I love the Frigid bottles, how they have how they're square. And so when I've used up a square bottle, sometimes I'll cut the bottom off to use with my feature builder to mix with the tank fluid. I'll mix it in the bottom of that little cup and then, suck it up with my syringe. Dry hair cleaner. Most of you probably are aware of our dry hair cleaner. Cleans hair, dirt, dye, etc., cosmetics. You can thin out cosmetics with it as well if they're too opaque, if you need a lighter application. Usually when I'm using the natural lip color, I'll sometimes dip just the end bristles of my brush in dry hair cleaner before using the matte lipstick just to thin it out for applying on the person's lips too. We've got rose colored tone dye, which a lot of people are familiar with as well as an intrinsic dye. Most of Frigid Fluid's arterial fluids have active dye in them. If you are curious the amount or what colors, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with that. But most of them have active dye in them. So this is an extra concentrated dye if you think that you need that for your case. Think specifically adenomous cases where you've got, you need to remember that everything's going to be diluted once you inject it into a body that has a lot of edema. So you might need or want to do extra dye. Rose color tone is great. It also plays nicely with all arterial fluids or supplementals. So I just wanted to show here, just reestablishing some color intrinsically, so I don't have to worry about doing cosmetics later on. Of course, I want to say too, I did feature build the fingertips afterwards. Don't worry, I did. And that is it that we've got for today. I know we ran through a lot of stuff really quickly, but I like to leave time for questions at the end. Chris, does anyone have any questions? Okay. So my email is there. It's just amek@frigidfluid.com, or you can find me on social media at amek_graphics. I am happy to help or troubleshoot with you guys. Oftentimes, people reach out to me with cases. It is all confidential, but I'm happy to guide you with whether it's embalming questions or intrinsic dye questions or cosmetic reconstruction, whatever you guys need. I'm happy to be there for you. And just a reminder too, to please like and subscribe to the Frigid channel. We are trying to do more things on YouTube so that people have more access to it. And if you need this video afterwards, we can always get it to you as well. And yeah, we've on our social media, we've got a lot of things up that we're doing for NFTA this year. I think every day we've got stuff going on with Damon's presenting on Sunday. I'm presenting Monday morning at 8 a.m. Monday, I'm also doing a live demo, and Tuesday doing a live demo in the Frigid booth. And then we've got the machines there, of course, too, that will be demoing as well. And yeah, we just like to see everyone. Oh, Chris just told me that the next restorative webinar I'm doing is November 18th. You can register for that on our website under the webinars tab as well. And we're going to go through the restorative elements of the kit or the line. And then I'm actually going to show you guys like how to make bone, how to, like I mentioned, doing the cavarium with the tech bond. I can show you guys mimic how to do it. So I'm going to show you some techniques and tricks with that as well. So that's a good one. Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I know you guys are probably crazy busy at the funeral home. Or if not, I hope you get another moment of calmness. But thank you guys for tuning in today. We appreciate it.